Hey, howdy and welcome. I'm Mike, your board gaming every dude, and today we are reviewing as Board Games for One, Castles of Mad King Ludwig, the Royal Edition and the Colossal Edition. And the cool thing is this is relevant because these are available for pre-order now on Bezier Games. Hope I said it right. I'm so sorry if I didn't. And I want you to be able to know whether or not one of these is good for you. Should you get the Colossal? Should you get the Royal? Should you get the Moats? I can't say a lot about Colossal Moats because I didn't get it. I thought I did. Oops, my bad. But anyway, let's go straight to the aperitif. Castles of Mad King Ludwig is a tile-laying game in which each player is trying to build an amazing castle, subject to the whims of the Mad King. Players are contractors, looking for the best deals on rooms while selling their services to other players. As the players add rooms to their castles, they earn victory points. The player with the most victory points at the end of the game wins. The Master Builder draws room cards equal to the number of empty spaces below the scoreboard and places a room tile of the sizes drawn below the scoreboard at whatever prices they choose. Each player, starting from the player to the left of the Master Builder, chooses one of the priced rooms or a hallway or stairs and pays the Master Builder the value on the scoreboard directly above that room. Purchased rooms are placed in the buyer's castle and scored immediately. If a player passes, they receive 5,000 and the Master Builder receives nothing. When it comes to the Master Builder's turn, they pay the money supply for the room tile they choose or pass and receive 5,000 from the money supply. Rooms that were not bought from the scoreboard get a 1,000 coin from the money supply placed on them. The total amount of coins on the selected tile is kept by the player selecting the tile and may be used to purchase that tile. Then the Master Builder token moves one player to the left. Players' money is always public. The game is over immediately after the round in which the deck of room cards has been depleted. For the solo game, set up the game as for 3 players, but do not turn over any room cards and don't place any favors. Take 2 bonus cards, 15,000, and a foyer in the color of your choice. Place your player swan on the 0 space. Each turn, flip over 3 room cards and place the rooms in order on the 2,000, 4,000, and 6,000 spots. Those are your room choices for this turn. At the end of the turn, remove any unpurchased room tiles and place them in the box. If you take 5,000 on a turn instead of placing a room, or if you build a hallway or stairs on a turn, you still remove the tiles from below the scoreboard. Play the game as normal, with all money that you pay going to the money supply. Whew, that was a lot, but you got a good overview of the entire game. Now you know I like to show you what the game looks like on the table fully set up. So first of all, here's what it looks like if you're playing with the Royal Collector's Edition. You'll notice the player space with the castle tiles, so that's how much for a solo game. If you're playing multiplayer, you will need that much player space for each player. Now let's look at the Colossal Edition. As you can see, this is huge. Now I do not have Colossal Moats, so this is just the Colossal Edition, and you can see it takes up the entire table just solo. You can pull this off multiplayer, but you're going to be wiggling around each other. And now, a montage of the components up close and personal. All right. So, should you play the game? Well, first of all, for the multiplayer part, I'm not going to speak to that because though I do plan on it, I have not gotten the chance to play this multiplayer. I love the idea of the interaction where one of you is the master builder, and if anybody wants to purchase a room, they give you money. That's how you generate income. Also, people placing money on the rooms that are available for purchase. So later on, when you grab it, you get that money. You can even pay for the room using the money on that tile. I like that interactive part. That does not exist in the solo game. We're going to get to that. But that interaction sounds fantastic. I also like in the multiplayer the idea of these royal decrees, these beautiful acrylic tokens here that have different bonuses. So there's like these are all group bonuses. I guess everybody's going for it. You're competing for first, second, third, fourth, or fifth place, depending on how many players you have. And you can also get royal decrees if you're playing with the Towers expansion. Then you can get a royal decree. You draw one here anytime that you are able to meet the requirements to place a tower in your castle. That part gets pretty cool. Just in case you're wondering, I have the Colossal edition in front of me just because for table presence here, it looks fantastic. It's absolutely beautiful. I will say the towers the towers are beautiful. I love them. The towers really shine with the Royal Edition because they are the same size as the tiles. So since the rest of the castle is a little smaller, these towers just pop. Whereas on the Colossal, they still pop. They're absolutely beautiful, but they are smaller than the Colossal tiles. So not a problem, but just something I noticed. I really prefer those in the Royal. In the Colossal, I might put them on the tile, I might not. Who knows? But anyway, multiplayer, you have those. So, let's get straight to the negatives of solo, and then I'll talk about why I love it. Okay, so the negatives of the solo is it is a beat your own score solo mode. You may have gotten that from the aperitif there. I'm sorry you had to sit through that. But beat your own score, I did not truly understand what that meant until I played this. I've kind of been trying to figure it out, but I'm like, every game that has victory points is beat your own score, right? You're always trying to get a better score. Different. So beat your own score in this game, what that means is your only goal is to get, say, 50 points, and that's great. You earn the title of something. And so then the next time you play, your goal is to get 60 points, right? But it means that you don't have an intelligent AI that you are battling against. So playing games like On Mars by Vital Lacerda, that has an intelligent AI that is not just interrupting, but actually competing with you, right? So they're earning points, they're competing, really challenging you to work around their strategy. Julian Pombo does a great job with an intelligent AI in an upcoming game called Pampero, where he has certain priorities. The AI has priorities that they're meeting. This game does not have that. What it has is a system that simply removes tiles to limit your options. That's not always a bad thing, okay? It's not always bad. There's games like Obsession that does this, where all your opponent just has, they start out and it's like they've got 80 points. You got to be 80 points, and they just get in your way. You've got the game I really just enjoyed playing called Heroes Crossing, and that's all it is. You've got Honey Buzz. You don't have an AI opponent. They're just getting in your way. So the beat your own score thing, it has a place. And it has a place if you're looking for a fairly relaxing game that you can learn fast. Look, I learned this game quickly. Now, when you start playing with all of the different expansions that come with it, it gets more complex and enjoyable. But even with those, this is a quick learn, okay? This is a quick learn. Solo is a quick learn. It's well, maybe it's 2 paragraphs, but it could be 1. Simple rules. And therein is also the negative. You're missing out on some of the most beautiful parts of the game. The simple things, just like having these royal decrees out, having these royal decrees to compete for, or the towers, okay? You can play with the towers expansion. So let's say a tower came out. I don't have one out here. We're going to pretend this is a tower. Let's say you bought a tower tile and you put it down, you connected it. Yay, wonderful. And then you completed the room by connecting all passages. The room is complete. We're happy. You get to place a tower on it. Now, Normally, when you complete a room, that means you place a tile on each passage, you get a special bonus for that room. There are several different room types, and each comes with a bonus when you complete. For example, when you complete an outdoor room like the terrace gardens, then you get 10,000 money. Awesome. When you complete another room, like say an entertainment room, then you automatically just get 5 victory points. Boom. Well, same thing with the tower. The tower is going to have a room type. It might be outdoor. So if it's the outdoor tower, which is this one here, we would get to finish the room, get our 10,000 money. That's awesome. But towers get a special bonus. When you complete a tower, you get to draw I guess it's a favored, I call it a royal decree. I've been mixing it up. My apologies. Royal decrees are actually the purple cards. Here they are. Royal decrees are these right here. So my mistake. I've been talking about the king's favors, the favor tokens. So just go back and all that and retranslate to favor tokens. Whatever, we know what I'm talking about. You get to take a favor token, right? Or I think you get to pick draw 3, pick the one you want to keep, right? And then you get to put it under here. Well, what that does in the multiplayer game, it means that you are the only one that gets to compete to get this bonus. So in this case, it would be whoever has the most square footage of living spaces ends up getting the most points. Well, that's great. So you can compete for that and get that bonus. Well, in the solo game, that doesn't happen. You don't get these favor tokens. So you can still do the towers, get the room bonus, but you're missing out, right? And you don't get to compete for these 3 things. So this is empty. And it just feels like you're missing out, and it feels a little bit like just trying to beat your own score it gets a little confusing, and let me tell you why. Okay, so let's say you play this game with none of the expansions active. All the expansions come with the Royal Edition, so you don't have to worry about that, and expansions except for the moat come with the Colossal Edition. If you want Colossal moats, that's another thing. All right, so basically there's 3 options. Royal Edition has everything in it, everything that you need, including moats, normal size. Colossal Edition has everything in it except moats. Colossal moats adds the moats. So let's get all that out there so you know what to buy, what not to buy. You don't make the mistake I did where I thought I got Colossal moats and I didn't. All right, and I'm very sad about it. I wish they would sell the moats separately because I want them, but I don't want to buy the whole Colossal moats thing. Anyway, whatever. Royal Edition, so you have all the expansions. Let's say you play the base game, no expansions, and you try to get the earliest score goal, which is greater than 60 to be Court Jester. If you play that with no expansions, it's more challenging to get. But then you add an expansion, like the Royal Decree cards, or you add the Towers expansion, or you add the Swans expansion where you use the Swan tokens, or you use the Secret Passages expansion, or what else am I missing? I'm sure there's another, we won't get to the next one. Let's say you add any of those. They make it easier to get points. So at first I was like, well, that's not right, because if that feels like cheating, so I just add an expansion and I get more points. So if I'm playing the same way with just the base game and I get 60 points, well, I add an expansion, I'm at 70 points or 80 points, right? And so I was kind of like, I was kind of confused by that. And that's why the beat your own score didn't feel right. Something wasn't clicking smoothly. And I was afraid I was going to have to make my own AI mode because I love this game. Oh my goodness. I enjoy playing this game. I have played it about 15 times since it's come in, all right? And it's a fairly fast play. You can play it in 30, 45 minutes. This is not crazy. For solo, that is. For solo. For multiplayer, it may take a little longer. But then I realized, okay, so the points are going up, but it's also because I'm playing the expansion right or wrong. They don't just give you points. They just add other routes. And if you use your strategy right, so you use the swans, well, you now have a new means of generating income or pass on that income, save them for the end, and get yourself some points, or mix it up, right? If you do the secret passages, you have a chance to get like double favors if you connect the right rooms. If you connect the wrong rooms, you're actually going negative points. If you add the towers in, not a huge difference playing solo, because you don't get to take their royal decree, or I call it royal decree, the king's favors tokens. At least that's what I understand from the instructions. From the instructions, it seems you don't take these. I played by taking these with the towers expansion, and basically it just guaranteed an extra 8 points for every tower that I completed, which started to feel like cheating. It was almost too easy. It felt kind of weird. It basically guaranteed a tower comes out, get the tower, complete the tower. That's 8 points on top of the room's bonus thing. However, that also kind of seems like that's how it is in multiplayer, because you are... No, it isn't, because you still have to have first place. You still have to compete for first, second, third, fourth place. Okay, got it. Anyway, yeah, so it just didn't... It made it too easy. So the towers expansion half-heartedly fits into solo. Anyway, I was very upset about all that, and I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to make my own solo mode. Then I played with the Moats expansion. The Moats expansion takes all the benefits of these other expansions and condenses it, so now you're trapped into this moat space, and it's a lot harder to get. To get 60 points with that moat expansion is hard. So if you play with all the expansions, including moats, you've got a challenging experience. If you pick and choose, you're having fun, but it may be a little easier to climb up in the points depending on the expansion you use. So you might be like, well, that sounds terrible. But I'll have you know, I personally, though it's not in the rules, and you will see this in the playthrough that I do for the board game Nexus coming up, I play with these King's Favors. I put down 3 just like for a 3-player game, and all I do is, since it's a 3-player game, I count for a value of 3 on each of these. So if we're fighting for who has the most courtyards, I know that the AI opponent has 3, I've got to get 4 or more. For whoever has the most sleeping rooms, they always have 3, so I've got to get 4 if I want to get first place. There's no second place. If it's square footage, then I know I draw 3 cards. Boom, boom, and boom. And I just count up the square footage on those cards. 325, 600, and 450. And use 3 cards that you aren't using in the game, because you don't use all of them. And you can just put them down here. So I know, man, I always round up. I got to have 1,400 square feet of an outdoor space to win that. Keeps it easy, and I still get to use the favors. I do the exact same thing with the towers. If I complete a tower, I pull out my favor token and put it down, and this one is whoever has the most towers is the one that wins first place. Well, that means that the AI opponent automatically has 3 towers. It's going to be hard for me to win that. Again, no second place. So I sort of fixed that for myself. And in the playthrough, you're going to see me do that. You don't have to do that. It's not in the rules. But that way, I'm not missing out on almost anything. There's one other problem with the solo mode, okay? One other problem, and that is, it's hard to plan, because what you do is you draw a card, and it tells you to place a 450 square foot room. So you put it down, boom, we'll pretend that's it. And then the other one tells you to place a 6,000 square foot room, boom, you do it. So for this turn, you have to buy one of these 3 rooms. Or, of course, you can pass and take 5,000, or you can, what's the other thing you can do? Oh, you can buy a moat by paying 5,000, or, if you're playing with moats, or you can buy stairs or a hallway and place it. All right, those are your choices, but let's just stick to the rooms. If I buy one of these rooms, boom, I buy this room, I pay for it, I place it, these 2 get discarded. The trouble with that is it means I have no idea what's coming. Now, granted, that's fun, it's a surprise, but with a layout like this, you almost want one of those tiles to remain. You almost want to be like, okay, if I buy this one here in the middle, then I know that they're all going to shift to the left, boom, So this one's going to be discarded and this one's going to be in the middle. And then you'd place 2 new rooms. That I would like to see something like that, because I would have some surprise, but also some planning. And I'm actually probably going to try playing that on my own. As it is, though, you just take it all out. It goes into a discard. You draw 3 new ones. It's still super fun, but it just frustrates me because this is such a good game. I love this game. I love it, and not just because it's beautiful, but my goodness, it is beautiful. But because there's potential for the solo mode, that just a little more investment into it, maybe, just like some outside help, developer or something, could have taken this simple, wonderful, simple mode, add a couple tweaks to make it perfect. Perfect. So I want you to know that if you buy it for solo, just by the instructions as it comes, beat your own score. That's it. That being said, if you're looking for something simple to learn that still has a lot of, man, especially after you add the expansions, adds all kinds of strategy. It's a very thinky little puzzle putting this room together. It's rewarding. You're immediately rewarded when you finish rooms. You immediately get points. You immediately get money or a reward. I like that. It's not just rewards at the end, though there are rewards at the end as well, which I like. I like end game scoring bonuses. That's wonderful. It's all there. So if you also want a more relaxing experience, just play by solo game rules. If you want a little more interesting, watch my Board Game Nexus playthrough when it comes out. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I'm going to get it out there, and you'll see how I will add in the King's Favor tokens. I may even, if I get enough testing in, play with cycling the tiles instead. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe nobody will want to see that. I don't know. Okay, so should you play, as far as multiplayer, you're going to have a lot more room if you play with the Royal Collector's Edition, all right? You're going to miss the wow factor of Colossal, but you can all fit on the table. Colossal, man, there's wow factor, but you can see how much you're going to need, an 8-foot table or something like that for 4 people or 5 people, and you're really going to have to plan it out well, or maybe have people at like trays or something. I don't know. You need a Colossal, you're looking at a lot of space. If you're playing 2 players, you can pull it off. You can pull it off. More than that, I know Tantrum House did a video. They pulled it off actually on a board game table. So you can do it. You can do it. You're just going to have to, kind of crunch and move around as you can. Whereas Royal Collector's Edition is absolutely beautiful and stunning. Not as stunning just because of the size. But when you're playing solo, if you can always play with Colossal, do it, but save your back. So there's a lot going on. You saw from the image, the overhead image earlier, which I'll show again. And I don't think I could fit it all in the picture, even at that. You're going to be reaching pretty darn far. So you got to maneuver the board a little so you can reach everything, but no, there's going to be some stretching involved if you play with Colossal. But I solo prefer Colossal every time, and I'll just do some stretches before and after to make sure I stay healthy. I'll still play with Royal Collector's Edition because that's the one I have moats in, but this is just so much. I mean, I love the art. I can just stare at it and be like, and when I'm done, I'm so rewarded because I can see the way that my castle makes sense. And that's a bone. I really want to commend the designer, Ted. Ted, where are you, Ted? What's your last name? Dude, help me out. Ted Alspach. I like him. I like the games he's made. I like Bezier games. I like his social deduction games. Something I like about this design. He made it so the rooms make sense. So, for instance, you place a sleeping room, right? Well, if you place an entertainment room next to it, you're actually going to get negative points for doing that. And that makes sense. You don't put an opera like next to a sleeping room. That doesn't make sense. Oh my goodness. No. The entertainment rooms go next to hallways or next to kitchens or something like that. And sometimes not next to kitchens. They don't always like it, right? Kitchens get bonuses from being close to either sleeping rooms or something like that. The gardens get bonuses from being near halls or towers or something really cool. So by the end, if you're trying to maximize the points for every room, you look at your castle and you're like, oh my goodness, this makes sense. Everybody, come into my castle. Enter through the walls, cross the moat, and come into the terrace gardens. And from the terrace gardens, you can go left into the blah 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 tower. Super cool. And then to the right, you can go into like the drawing room or something like that. And off of the drawing room, maybe is a hallway that then leads to like the royal bedchambers and so on and so on. It makes sense. And you can tour through your little castle. And I'm so satisfied with that. So I have rambled. I have rambled. I have rambled. End of the day, should you buy this game? You know I don't answer that. I hope I've showed you enough in the review. And if you still have questions, and I hope you do, then I hope you will watch my playthrough that comes through on the Nexus. Oh my goodness, if this video is helpful, please give me a like as well. I always forget to ask. But that's, if you enjoy watching my nonsense, that's how you can contribute at this point. Also, I wanted to point out these swans are, a couple of things to point out. Okay, the swans, these are so cool. They're actually weighted on the bottom. They have a little metal. Have fun trying to knock those over. They don't, and this is how you score points. You travel through the points along the waterfall here. If you're playing with the Royal Collector's Edition, there's also a winter-like side. Instead of being a rectangle, it's a square, if that helps with your player space. If you've got 4 or 5 people and you want a board in the middle that's not rectangular, but rather is square or close to square, Winter Garden. And it still actually is beautiful. It's more dull colors because it's ice, but it's still quite lovely. But anyway, weighted swans, and I forgot one of the most important things, of course, the game trays system. Everything goes in the game trays very easily, and it's marked where you put them. I love that. Like, it'll say 400, and I know that means that the 400 rooms, I don't have one out here, but whatever, we'll pretend I do. The 400 room goes in there, so it'll say 400, or a picture of a swan. Makes me happy. Easy to put away, easy to take back out. As far as setup time, for how grand of a thing this is, it's minimal. I would say you can set up in 5 minutes. Your very first time, probably double that, just to get used to it. And to reset for a new game is going to be the same setup time, 5 to 10 minutes, depending on your pace, right? I don't think that's too bad. Probably reset up time 5 minutes. First, yeah, I think I got it right. I think I got it right. Okay, my goodness, I really feel like there was so much more to say, but I think I've covered it. What am I going to put up for you next? I'm going to put up the live stream actually of the unboxing. You get to see a little more of this game. Look, I love y'all. I'm going to see you next time.